Hello, dear friends. Good evening. Thank you for another time in this journey. This is about peace and conflict management, and my name is Tahuli Joshua. And we have been on 1 month professional diploma training in peace and sustainable development. And started the training in July on peace education, intelligence. September, we were on the planet peace and sustainable development, peace and for it now for those that will be interested to register and be part of that training. So it's going to be one of our major main courses in this peace and conflict resolution practice. So you are encouraged to apply for that one as well and be part of it. Peace and conflict management is one of our core courses. More than what we have been saying to participate in that training. And so endeavor to share the link with someone to register as well. Don't register alone. Share people as possible, let them register for this course. It's a main course, and we expect many people to apply for it and be part of it. So endeavor to share the link to someone to also register for it. Thank you. We'll make the link available in our WhatsApp group so that you can help to share it out to people to register for it. So let's that will be interested to learn these keys to be part of the training. So thank you very much for taking time to join us today. Happy weekend and happy Sunday. I hope you had a wonderful day. Now we're going to have a wonderful time together again, trying to share knowledge, to learn something new, and then to see how we can make our world sustainable. So this is what we're looking at here. Today, we are going to look at natural resources or natural resource governance. Natural resource governance. That's what we'll be looking at. Resource governance is what we're going to look at today. National governance is what we are going to look at today. So endeavor to share the link with someone, invite them to come and also join this free training. Even if they cannot join in participating in this one, at least the next one they can register for at least so that they can prepare themselves for the next one. And even if they can join now and be able to meet up with the training, they can still be considered. Do you understand? So part of this training. If you are not being in our WhatsApp group, you can also indicate so that we thank you very much and God bless you as you do that. So like I said, today we're looking at natural resource governance. Do our natural resources need to be governed? Do we need to govern our natural resources? Is there any need for us to regulate them? Is there any need for us to take responsibility for the judicious exploration and deploration of our natural resources? Is there a need for us to be held accountable for our action and inaction concerning our natural resources? Is there any need for it? Or should we just go ahead and exploit them as much as we want and use them as much as we have needs? Or should they be governed and regulated how we use those natural resources God has blessed us with? Should we argue that, oh, it's the God's given natural resources, why are we regulating it? We should allow human beings It's for our own good. God bless us with these resources. So let us use it without it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's God given natural resources. It cannot finish. It cannot finish. You understand? Let's use it. You don't need to be regretted. I'm free to go and cut down trees and use it. Nobody should ask me any question. I'm free to go and pack land anywhere and sand anywhere and use. Nobody should ask me any question. Anywhere I want to plant, it's God's given land. Nobody owns a land. Nobody owns a river. So anywhere I want to go and fish, I can fish. Nobody cares. It's God's given natural resources. It's for man, for man's use. So allow me to use it. Is that how it's supposed to be? Is that what we want it to be? Or do we need to govern these resources so that they can be used responsibly? I think the best answer is here is yes. Because if we allow the natural resources ungoverned, it means that they will be abused. All right? There may be abuses here and there. There may be unnecessary what exploitation of the natural resources. There may be also, you know, there may be also, unnecessary abuse of the natural resources. So it is very important and critical for us to regulate our natural resources. There's a need to govern these natural resources, make policies that govern these natural resources to make sure that they will not only serve our needs now in this present generation, but also serve the generation to come. Do you understand? Because we are raising children, of course, and they are going to take over us and their own children. Do you understand? So we must not abuse what God has blessed us with so that we can have them sustainably used over years, even after we must have gone, our children will take over and continue to use it. And that is how it is this. So there is need for us to govern our natural resources. And one way we can govern our natural resources is when we have institutions, agencies, government institutions and parastatals, all right, making regulations and policies that govern the, exploitation, utilization of these natural resources. By the time we do not take this into consideration, it means that it will be abused, unnecessarily exploited, and misused. Do you understand? So that is it. So natural resources governance is very important. And so, of course, when we're talking about natural resource governance, what are we talking about here? When we're talking about natural resource governance, we are referring to as the management and regulation of natural resources to ensure their sustainable and equitable use for the benefit of the present generation and the future generations. So we are not just concerned about the sustainability alone, but we are also concerned about the equitability in terms of distribution. Do you understand? Because these resources must be distributed equitably. I'm not talking about e equally. There's a difference between equity and e equality. Do you understand? So when you are talking about the two, you should understand the difference. But abilities for everyone to be able to access based on their level and their capacity. Do you understand? So that's what we're talking about equity. So that's what it is. So that's why we need to govern our natural resources. All right. So effective natural resources governance involves establishing policies, laws, institutions, and practices that promote transparency, accountability, and responsible stewardship on natural resources. All right. Now, let me say that again. Effective natural resources governance involves establishing what policies, right? Policies, laws, institutions, and practices that promote transparency, accountability, and responsible stewardship of natural resources. So that is, we are not just going to be transparent on how they are being used, exploited, but also we are going to be held accountable for how they are being exploited and used. And of course, we are also going to be held responsible in terms of how well we take care of these things. Do you understand? Now, but we say it's the establishment of policies, laws, institutions, and practices that promote. So now, if I may ask you now, in your own country, do you have an institution that is regulating the use of forestry use? Do you have such institution? Do you have institution that manage your waters? Do you have institution that manage your lands? Do you have institution that manage your oil, crude oil? Do you have institution that manage your gas? Do you have institution that manage your wind? Do you have institution that manage your whatever? Do you have such institutions available? Do we have such institutions developing policies that regulate the usage of these resources? How effective are those policies applied? How effective are those policies communicated? And how effective and how willing are the people to embrace those policies? Are they people oriented policies? Are people being oriented about those policies? These are the questions I would like you to maybe you respond as much as you can, all right? Can respond, that will be fine. So, for instance, we have an institution here that was managing our oil, or they are still managing, possibly, the NNPC, all right? The Nigerian National Petroleum, is it corporation or commission? Do you understand? Corporation is the one responsible for the management of our oil, right? The crude oil. So they have been managed. Are they managing it well? Are they been taking effective, developing and implementing effective policies to govern our oil? I don't know, but you people can help us to answer it. What about in your own country? You are not a Nigerian. What about in your own country? How effective the resources in your country are being governed and utilized? Now, we are discussing the issue of peace and sustainable development. You can agree with me that the inability to manage these resources effectively can cause conflict. Do you agree with that? We have what we call resource. One of the causes of conflict is resource control. Data militants. What were they fighting for? They were fighting for their own rights. That this crude oil is in our community. We should have certain benefits that we derive from the exploration of this crude oil. And our community must also be preserved. Having oil should not be a curse, should be a blessing. But to some extent, it's a curse. because much is not being benefited from it, even the host community. Most of lands in the Niger Delta are not farmable. They understand. So these are the issues. So environmental degradation. If you go to anytime I visit Port Harcourt, there are some places where in Port Harcourt you see some black particles dropping. You understand? Those black particles are very dangerous to our existence. So these are the issues. Policies, programs of government, how are they being formulated, implemented? So this is the reason why natural resources must be governed. People are mining our minerals illegally in our own country here. Some people have illegal license that are using to operate in our bushes. Some of the reasons why we are having conflict in Zamfara state because of gold mining. You understand? Reasons why we are having problem in Congo. So when it comes to natural resource governance, what are the key aspects that we need to look at? When we're talking about natural resource governance, what are the key aspects are we looking at? One, legal frameworks. Legal what frameworks? Establishing clear and robust legal frameworks that define rights, responsibilities, and regulations related to the extraction, use, and conservation of natural resources. Legal frameworks, establishing what clear and robust legal frameworks that define rights, responsibilities, and regulations related to the extraction, use, and conservation of natural resources. The Land Use Act provides a framework, all right, and make state governors in charge of lands in their own locations, and of course the water bodies also. Federal government has been trying to making effort to take those water bodies to be under federal government management, but it has been in existence, of course, because federal government should mind their business. You know, they have no business to go and take land or water bodies. If you want to come and do project in collaboration with the state government. All right. So there's no need for you to say you take them up. What are you taking? Even if you want to dredge the rivers, if you want to build seaports, do it in collaboration with the government in that state where you want to establish it. There's no need saying you take it over. So, but there are provisions that govern land act use. Do you understand? So it's very, very important. So there's a provisions for that. There's a provisions how our resources, like water resources, um, other natural resources should be used. Our forest. That's number one thing. Legal framework. There must be a legal framework to govern the utilization of these resources. And some people must also be held accountable for the usage. You understand? So transparency and accountability. So it's not just enough to have legal framework, but there must be element of transparency in the application of even the legal framework. Because some people are operating a license that are not true, that government is not aware of. Or maybe it's a government license, but it's not issued by the license by the government. Government does not have knowledge about that license, but someone has issued it out. and somebody is using it, claiming something. Do you understand? Because of lack of transparency and lack of accountability. So promoting transparency in decision making processes and ensuring that information about natural resources management is accessible to the public. True information, not false information. I think everybody is asking questions. When we were importing fuel, it was less expensive, though expensive but less expensive. Now we are buying it here, gong gong. It don't reach where we were not anticipating, or we were only anticipating it to reach. It has reached there. We are even anticipating another figure again. You understand? So, but these are the realities of things, because unscrupulous elements, untruthful elements are in what are involved. So they lie to us. If government, most government, not all, most government, if they are telling you we are going that side, just face this side, you will catch them. Do you understand? If they say we are going to, you know, to the north, just face south, they go south, you catch them there, because they are not going to the north, they are just deceiving you. Do you understand? So that's it. Otherwise, how can government will say use CNG, use CNG, use CNG, CNG is very affordable. We are making CNG available to Nigeria. Nigeria go and use CNG, but no government official is using CNG cars. No, nobody. So that's in Nigeria. I'm talking about Nigeria, for instance. Now. I don't know about your country, but in Nigeria here, they say we should go and use CNG, but they are not using CNG. They does it mean that they don't like cheap things? Does it mean that they don't like cheap things? Because they are government officials, they're using money anyhow. So they don't like cheap things. No, it's not like that. So they should also go and use CNG. The leadership by example. Leadership by example. Start using so that we can queue. So transparency and accountability is key. So accountability mechanisms should be in place to hold government officials. I don't talk about to hold government officials, companies, and other stakeholders accountable for their action and even inaction. When somebody does something that is not correct and it's called to explain, some will just collapse and begin. I hope you've watched that the National Assembly, I think the House of Reps committee oversighting the Niger Data Development Commission. I don't know whether some of you watched that drama. Yeah, professor collapsed. Can you imagine that? Professor collapsed because of interaction. Professor, come and tell us how this money is being used. Professor okay, could not answer question and then begin to dramatize the whole process. Do you understand? Dramatize the whole process. He collapsed. Was bringing him water. Professor stand up and talk. It's very funny, right? But it's not funny. People must be held accountable for their action and inaction. Do you understand? They must be held accountable. Transparency and accountability. You know, you must be ready to be held accountable. Whenever you are given an assignment, you must be ready for that. Let me share our own personal experience. We started a program. We're supposed to be an academic program for our students and a graduate program. So at some point, we discovered that the federal government was talking about the issue of accreditation and evaluation of degrees from Benin Republic and all of that. And the university we affiliated with in Benin Republic. So what do we do? We have to suspend the program. Uh, Suspend the program from February to June. We do not see any hope, right? So we say, okay, student, we wanted to give you a very good avenue for you to acquire knowledge, but it seems that government is not agreeing for us to continue because of a case that came up. So as a result of that, we are not going to continue with this program. So in that for that reason, we're going to refund your money, and we refunded their money. That's what I'm talking about here. So someone must be held accountable for your action and inaction. Do you understand? So when is there's a need for you to give account, don't collapse. Give account. And if you are to give account, don't lie. Tell us what is it, what is the truth. But that's where the challenge is, even to tell the truth. Do you understand? So transparency and accountability is one of the things. So please, if you have an opportunity, just the day you take that opportunity, tell yourself that you will be called to account for this one day. Do you understand? So mind the decisions you are going to take, the actions you are going to take, because there is going to come a day of reckoning, a day of reckoning, and you must give account for it. Do you understand? So that is why it is. So do your best to be accountable. That's number two aspect that we're going to consider: legal framework, transparency, and accountability. Number three is participation and inclusivity. Participation and what? Inclusivity. So engage all relevant stakeholders, including local communities, indigenous groups, civil society organizations, and the private sector in decision-making process related to natural resources, all right, governance. They have not called also, if they call us or any, will also come and contribute our input, all right? Any day they call us, we'll come and participate and contribute our input. Do you understand? So that's it. Inclusivity ensure that diverse perspectives are considered and that the benefits and burdens of resources extraction are shared equitably. All right. So these are the issues that are involved. So engage the stakeholders, local communities. Don't take them for granted because at the end of it all, they are the one that are hosting the resources. Government government may be controlling, but there are people that are overseeing that thing, and they are the ones that will make it to, you know, government policies to be implemented. Otherwise, they can frustrate the effort of government. You tell them that okay, let the forest be conserved. Okay, they may not cut down the tree. They may not even enter the tree. They may not enter the forest and cut down the trees. But what will shock you is that they will burn down the forest. So you will not catch anybody burning the bush, but you see the bushfire. It will consume and destroy some of the trees, destroy some of the biodiversity, the species or animals and whatever in the bush. Yeah, I get the point now. So the local communities must be carried along. So inclusivity is very important. If we relegate the role of the local communities in decision making, you will still suffer the consequence. And that is the reason why most of our policies are not being functional. Why? Because the relevant stakeholders were not all carried along, even right from the formulation of the policies. A policy that you formulate, you can work with it to work to ensure the implementation of that policy. Formulated and is one to be imposed on you, it becomes very, very difficult for it to be implemented. I get a point now. So these are the issue. All together now. So sustainable development. Sustainable development. So we are saying that for resource governance, we must integrate the element of sustainable development in our governance process, because we must develop policies that will ensure that whatever we are going to use now, we are not going to abuse it. We use it with the consciousness of the mind that we have a future generation that are also going to use it. You understand? So for that reason, we have to integrate the principles of sustainable development into our natural resource governance process. Do you understand? So in that way, we can be able to meet our needs now without compromising the needs of the future generation. I get a point now. So this may include environmental conservation, social equity, and economic development. Very important. Am I making sense? Or is the presentation making sense at all? Are you learning something new? All right. So if I'm learning something, you make us know in the comment section. All right. So now that's what it is. So because just take it at a personal level, at a personal level, at a personal level. Forget about governmental level. Forget about institutional level. Take it at the personal level. You do you spend everything you get or you earn once it enter your hand? Although I have some people, and we have such people also in government, that whenever a budget enter their hand, they must finish it. That way. So that they budget things that they don't have need of. This budget in excess, because issue of transparency and accountability is also lacking. There's a question on accountability and transparency. So once money comes, they spend everything. A governor sits, and then it's only few governors that say at the end of my tenure I received this, and this is how much I was able to invest in, and this is how much is remaining, and this is how much I'm handing to the next government to take over. They spend everything. Some will leave just some couple of millions, but you were receiving billions, and you could not leave a billion or some billions in the account. You just leave some million, and then you left. Then I must tell you the truth. You are a bad governor. If I receive 100 million or 100 billion in my administration, and I invest some of them, let's take it that you invest some things in social projects that may not give you return per se. Do you understand? But maybe some percent, maybe 10% of that money, you put it in other investment that will bring in money into the pocket of the government. So in 4 years of your administration, let's assume that you invest 10% of every allocation per year, which is like I'm talking now, which is more than even a year allocation. And some of all those other money that they used to get is more than 100 billion in a year. What do they do with it? You understand? Social projects you will not see. Investment we not see. So what do we see? You understand? Only few states can boast of something like this. Do you understand? So when you get money as a person individual, should be you spend and keep some savings, saving for tomorrow's school fees and other emergency unforeseen contingencies. Do you understand? You save for unforeseen contingencies, the things that may come that you are not anticipating them to come, but they may come. Maybe a child will develop sickness. You have to take the child to the hospital. Is it not so? So when you get everything, you spend everything today, then what happens to your children tomorrow if in case you are not there? Do you understand? So this is what we're talking about is sustainable development. So anything you receive, you are not permitted to use all of it. It doesn't matter how small your salary is. Save something. Save something. All right, save something, and then it will amaze you how much you, at the end of the day, you'll be able to save. Do you understand? So that's what it is altogether. So let's progress. Conflict prevention and resolution. When we are talking about resource, natural resource governance, then an aspect of conflict prevention and resolution must be input in the policies, in the programs that has to do with resource governance, because resources we say are the causes of conflict. So whatever mechanism we are putting in place, we must put mechanism that mitigate and prevent conflict from occurring. Do you understand? So it's very important to know this. But sometimes we take developmental projects or programs and policies without articulating the possibility of conflict in it. And so we don't make provision for any form of conflict resolution or prevention. We just develop policies. No, there is a possibility that the implementation of this policy may bring about crisis. So what do? You review the policy and you also resolve conflicts. Maybe in case there is conflict arising because of a policy, there's a mechanism that provide that in case conflict arises, this, and this that should be done. That's what we're saying in the alternative dispute resolution, that before you enter into a contract agreement, let there be a provision that, okay, in case things did not go the way it's supposed to go, you can take it to court, or you can take it to arbitration, or you can take it to a mediation center for mediation. Do you understand? Anyone I want. But it should be arbitration, because arbitration award can be enforceable. But it depends on the nature of the conflict. Some of them can be mediated. Do you understand? So that is it. Are we together? So capacity building. So capacity building. Building the capacity of government institutions. All right. Some of them need this training we are doing here. Some of these governmental institutions need, because in every workplace environment, there's what we call workplace conflict. And there are some certain acts in the in offices that causes conflict. Sometimes it may not be big conflict too, but there is what we call acrimony in workplaces. Do you understand? Some kind of form of hatred, grudges here and there. Do you understand? So all of those things can hinder the progress of that institution. So we are having conflicts here. Let me resolve this conflict before we progress, please. Able to resolve the network conflict. Yeah, someone said network conflict. So we are able to resolve the network conflict. We are back. So let's progress. So now, so this governmental institution needs to, you know, be trained, right? We will try to approach as many as possible to see if they can welcome such for them. It's very important. Capacity building, yes. Regulatory bodies and local communities to effectively manage natural resources. Some of them need to be, you know, many of them that, look at some of these resources, look after these resources must be trained because there are elements of conflict here and there. We have natural resources, whether it's water, whether it's land, whether it's forest, whether it's whatever, needs to be trained. So resources or resource revenue management, resource revenue management, and this is what is also this is one of the problems. Money that is being generated from the exploitation or exploration of these resources causes conflict. And so, and most importantly, when these resources are not judiciously managed, if we are so conscious to make sure that oil pure or environmental degradation in the Niger Delta is being taken care of, we will not hear the noise that is happening in the Niger Delta to be as clean as, point on. But so much money is coming out there, but the people there are suffering. And that's why agitation was going on at some point. You understand? So, resource revenue management. So, revenue generated from these resources must be adequately managed and shared. So, ensuring that the revenue generated from the extraction of natural resources are managed transparently to benefit society as at least the one that they used to tell us and they used to give us. At least they used to share it among the state governments, and then the state government also used to pay salaries and do one or two projects that's benefiting us. But assuming we are so judicious in the application of these resources, we would have gone far by now. We would have been knocking Malaysia and Singapore on the head. See, we are made. You cannot run faster than I can run. Okay, even though I know that in one way or the other you may be ahead of me, but me too, I'm not also sleeping. I must catch up with you. I must catch up with you. But the distance between us and Malaysia and Singapore now is like the distance from here to US. The distance is very far and wide in all aspects of what we consider as development. So that is the challenge. So establishing mechanism for revenue sharing, which we have revenue mobilization and the fiscal commission, right? But mobilization allocation and fiscal commission, that's the name of it. There's something I wanted to say, but I will not say it. So investment in public service, investment in public service, and long-term savings. Long-term savings. Yeah, we have foreign reserve, but uh, it it they do like the waves in the water. That's it's always like this, and sometimes it goes like this. Do you understand? Go down. That's why it's making our dollar to be like naira to be dancing a shoko. Naira is dancing a shoko. It goes up and come down, goes on. Naira is not being stable at all. From naira was 200 at least the last time at the time that we would consider it as it was not being too too expensive to exchange naira to dollar. It was like 150. From nowhere it started going up, and then during the last administration it went all the way. It is knocking 2,000 per $1 knock. Nigeria and Kenya, be like say they are friends. Oh. Those of you in Kenya that join this trend, be like say you and Nigeria, be like say wanna have something in common. Oh. Yes, people have something in common with Nigeria. Be like say you guys are friends. No wonder Nigerian ladies say they like Kenyan ladies say they want to marry Nigerian guys because be like say there's a connection, even in developmental issues. You understand? Telling you the truth. Because Kenyan shillings to $1 is another wahala. You understand? But if you go to Botswana, one Botswana puller is 13 point something Botswana puller to $1. 13 point. That is why you cannot hear cry. You don't hear conflict. When we mention Botswana, when last did you hear Botswana in the news as conflicts happening in Botswana? When have you ever heard it in history in your ears that in Botswana there is conflict? Let me tell you something. The first university in Botswana was built by every citizen of that country. You know what they did? They contributed one cow. Each family contributed one cow. All right. I think I have that video. I may share it with you in our WhatsApp group so you hear about the story of that university. The first university that was built in that country after independence. All right. It was a collective effort of the citizens to build that university. You know what they did? They contributed one cow, one cow. Each family contributed one cow, and they sold the cows to United Nations and some of these European nations, European Commission, whatever. And after that, they gathered the money in foreign currency and then built the university. You understand? So if you look at the university, there's a monument there to like recognize and acknowledge those who contributed. The names of families are there. Do you understand? To acknowledge their contribution. And then there's a symbol of a cow there to demonstrate the source of the resources that they used to build the university. Do you understand? The cow is being, raised there. The sculpture of the cow is being raised there. So that the government is good. The government is good. That's why their economy stable, strong, viable. Now 13 Botswana Polar now. 13 Botswana Polar is about 40 something thousand there. So we'll just put let's put here to Botswana. We'll put and go to Botswana. When you gather like 1 million 1 million polar from Botswana, you come back to Nigeria. Oh boy, you are a billionaire. Do you understand? So that's what it means. So resource revenue management is very important. If it were in this country that every family contributed one cow, today we would still be asking what is happening with the money generated from the one cow. We will still be asking those questions. Do you understand? So that is what it is. So please, a moment, I'm coming. So are we together? I hope I'm making sense. I'm not wasting your time. I want you to know what is happening around the world. All right. So that you know that when we are telling you that something is not correct here, we mean what we are saying because something is not just correct. We must state this fact. All right. We must state this fact. So now let's look at so talk about resource revenue management. So resources generated from those resources or natural resources should be judiciously applied. Then environmental protection. Environmental protection, like I have mentioned this one, the issue of Niger data. Okay, the environment must be protected. That environment is being contaminated. No farming activities. Do you understand? So nothing like that. And so it's some of the reason why sometimes this people protest. Do you understand? Implementing measures to minimize environmental impact associated with natural resource extraction and processing. Very important. All right. So let's move forward. So when we are talking about uh, natural resources governance, these are the issues that must be put into perspective. These factors must be taken into cognizance. All right. So let's look at sustainable use of forests, oceans, and land. This is another topic. Sustainable use of what? Forest, oceans, and land. Sustainable use of what? Forest, oceans, and land. So we're going to break them one after the other. Let's see what it is. All right. So because this thing must be used sustainably, because they can deplete, they can finish. From my experience in Jigawa, they cut down the tree because they want to do development, urbanization. So it means that forests can disappear. Do you understand? So oceans can dry and land can what depreciated. Land can depreciated. So all of these things can be used what sustainably. So that's what we're talking about here. So let's look at forest. So when we're talking about sustainable forest use, what are we talking about? We're talking about forest conservation. Forest. Protect forest from deforestation. And wherever there is any element of deforestation, let there be afforestation. You cut, you plant. You fall a tree, you plant one, rest one. Illegal lodgings. Let not don't allow any unnecessary intruders in that place. To maintain biodiversity, ecosystem services, and carbon sequestration. Do you understand? So all of these should be put into perspective. Number two, sustainable logging. Implementing sustainable forestry practices such as selective logging and logging. All right, logging, that is the cutting down of the trees. Do you understand? Logging, that is log. You cut log maybe for paper production or for roofing activities and other activities. So you can cut down the log. So selective log, so that you select the kind of trees that you cut them down, right? Then those that are due for that and are mature enough to be cut down. But once you cut them, also do way to either you allow the stem to sprout or you plant a new one. All right. So that is what it is. So reduce impact logging and then forest certification to ensure that timber extraction is done in environmentally responsible manner. So those that are going to get timber for roofing, for paper production, and other activities that will need wood to do tissue production and all of that can be, sustainably done. All right, sustainable logging. So reforestation and afforestation, reforestation and afforestation. So planting trees and restoring degraded forests or forests are areas to increase forest cover, enhance biodiversity, and mitigate climate change because the availability of soil or forest can bring the fertilization of soil. Do you understand? So, but when trees are uprooted and then there's so much heat, it causes the soil also to deplete. Do you understand? So, afforestation or reforestation is very important. When you fall down a tree, just plant one or plant two to compensate that one that you fell. Do you understand? So let me ask you a question now. You that you are listening to me, when last did you plant a tree? When last? When I was in Sokoto. Sokoto, I think it's government college, but government college, government science college also close to those of you that are from Sokoto, close to Shehu Shagari College of Education, right? Yes, we're there, planted some trees there. I was just part of community service. Do you understand? So I have passion for community service, not today. Nobody told me to, I was not doing to get anything, I was not doing it for my own, just for my own self satisfaction. You understand? So community engagement, involving local communities, indigenous groups, and stakeholders in forest management decisions to ensure their rights, knowledge, and interests are respected and integrated into conservation efforts. Very important, right? Very, very, very important. So community people must be kind of. When I wanted to plant the tree, I did not just go to plant to. I go and I met the principal of the school. We discussed it. So they told me what I needed to do. So I went and bought those ones that we raised, and then I came together with the school. We went out and did the plantation. I was not a co-member. Most of these things are being done by co-members, maybe looking for projects to execute. I was just a community man enjoying the community. So I felt that I should also impact the community in one way or the other. And that was the only thing I could do. Do you understand? So So I did it. All right. So forest certification, promoting certification schemes such as Forest Stewardship Council and program for the endorsement of forest certification to verify sustainable forest management practices and support responsible use sourcing of wood products. Yeah, those that have the skills necessary to, extract some of these resources, they should be given right license, and then they should be monitored and also be regulated. Do you understand? So that they will not also abuse the privilege and the rights given to them to extract these resources, because there is possibility for abuse. Yes, you got the license. It's a general license, but there's a place for abuse because people like abusing privileges given to them. You understand? Like abusing privileges. So it's better you tend to abuse the natural resources. So we are going to withdraw this license. When if the license is the issue, it can also be withdrawn. Do you understand? So it's there's two that is it. So not you have the license given to you by government, that same license can be withdrawn. Do you understand? So you don't need to abuse it. Don't go and involve yourself in illegality. If you notice, we withdraw it and we'll kick you out. And possibly say if care is not taken, we'll still fine you. Uh-huh. So you see, everybody will sit straight and do things right. That's what makes China to be where they are today. They don't tolerate corruption at all, except you are not caught. But they notice that you're involved in corruption. It doesn't matter whether you are a former president or you are a president. You have something to answer. See where they are. They are competing with anybody anywhere in terms of infrastructural development. If we cough, they cough twice. Do you understand? That's to tell you that we are challenging you. You cannot tell us anything. If China, if the Chinese people have the kind of leadership we have here, maybe by now the 1 point something billion people would have died and remain like how many people? Because survival would have been very, very difficult. We have only 200 million, which is not even up to, or maybe quarter of what China has. And then we are struggling here, struggling. Poverty. People that are in poverty, they are more than 70 million. Oh, I say 70. More than 30 million people. So forests must be properly used, and they must also be protected and conserved. All right. Let's look at the oceans. The oceans. So when we are talking about sustainably use of oceans, what are we talking about? The establishing marine protected areas to conserve marine biodiversity. That's water beneath the earth or the water. That is life beneath the water, rather. Protect critical habitats and restore fish populations. Because if that is not done, some people use chemicals to fish. Do you understand? They use chemicals to fish, and they fish in large quantity. So if it's not regulated, they will fish everything. Before you know it, we don't have again. I gave you a simple experience, an analogy of my local experience, where we hunt rats without control. We are hunting for consumption. Some of us hunt for even business because when Christmas is coming, we don't have money to buy clothes those days in the village. We have to go hunting, hunt rats, come and say, buy Christmas shoe, clothes, or whatever. Do you understand? So we hunted till we finished all the rats. All the rats ran up to our locality. So if we have to hunt, we'll go as far as Cross River to go and hunt rats there. We'll go. But if I talk, some of you may not even know. We'll go as far as Yera or Goja to go and hunt rats. All the way from Constitution local government, we'll go to Yera to go and hunt rats. You understand? So we we finish all the rats in our village. You understand? Because of what excessive hunting. I'm giving just local example. Local. So now if you want to get a rat, you sweat like this before you get one. Sustainable fisheries. So implementing sustainable fishing practices such as setting setting what catch limits, protecting spawn grounds, and reducing bycatch, all right, bycatch to ensure that the long-term viability of fish stocks and marine ecosystems. So bycatch. So that is, even if a fish miss its way, you are not to catch it, let it go. That's why you see some of if you watch some of the things you see online, maybe waves, maybe ocean waves will carry a fish, maybe shark or one of these whales. Do you understand? And throw it out. If it's in our own country, the water throws like we kill it and eat it. But in other countries, if the waves throw out a fish like that, they will push it back and send it back into the water. Buy catch. Don't That's what we call buy catch. Don't catch it. Don't kill it. Don't take advantage and kill it. Push it back. Let it go back to the water. But here, me, for instance, me like this, I'm talking to you like this. I'll go by the riverside. I'll see fish where water just thrown out. I say, God, I will kneel down, thank God first. And say, so God, now so you love your children. I didn't even ask for anything. You just dash me fish here free. I will kill it there and there. Do you understand? If it's too big, I will call the whole community, will kill it and butcher it and share among the community people and eat. But in other environments, they will drag the fish back to the river and send it back. Go. You see the difference, right? So it has been inculcated in the minds of the people. So they are conscious of this. Such as plastic waste, OSPs, and chemical runoff to protect marine habitats and wildlife. Our waters are full of it. If you see our own water and you see the other waters elsewhere, you see the water looks blue. But here our own, how does it look like? Reddish, dirty, and that's to tell you the level of dirtiness that is entering our water bodies. Refuse, plastic flying like some even block water passage. Marine pollution control. So we need to control some of these things. Educate people about waste. Man, we were talking about that thing yesterday now. Waste reduction. Waste reduction. Recycle as much as possible. Let it enter the consciousness of people to recycle. Do you understand? Ocean conservation. Ocean conservation. Supporting initiatives to combat overfishing, illegal fishing, and habitat destruction, and promoting sustainable seafood consumption to reduce pressure on marine resources. Ocean governance, strengthening international cooperation and governance mechanisms to address issues such as the marine biodiversity loss, ocean acidification, and climate change impact on marine ecosystem. I think we have marine institution in our country as well. All right, we have marine institution. The other one, I think Tom Polo was heading it at some point. Uh-huh. So we have several of them out there. All right. Land use. When we're talking about land usage and governance, what are we talking about? We are talking about land use planning, adopting integrated land use planning approaches that balance competing demands for land, such as agriculture, urban development, conservation, and infrastructural development, can go a long way to help. So let's plan adequately how we use our land. Which one are we using for agriculture? Which one are we using for urban development in terms of roads, network, and all of that? And of course, other infrastructural development. Do you understand? So we need to plan very well. And that's why we have regional and urban planning, right? So we have them. We have chips, right? So all of them are there to help. Soil conservation, implementing soil conservation practices such as erosion control, agroforestry, and sustainable agricultural techniques to protect soil fertility and prevent land degradation. So, soil conservation. Allow grasses to be stop bush burning. We bush burn to hunt rat and hunt other animals. Do you understand? Bush animals, grass cutter. You know, in some other countries, these things, the conservation of these animals is a pride. In Australia, I gave you an example the other day. In Australia, in 2020, when the issue of COVID-19 was going on, the challenge of Australia was the bush, the fire, the wildfire that just destroyed a lot of biodiversity in that country. I mean, over 5 billion species of different animals, different beings, different lives, and other organisms died as a result of that fire. See, kangaroos were just moving. You know, they have kangaroos a lot. They were moving in people's houses. Do you understand? A lot of them died. A lot, a lot. So it was a national disaster. So biodiversity conservation, protecting and restoring natural habitats, ecosystem and wildlife corridors to maintain biodiversity and ecosystem services on land. So it's very important. Like just what I have mentioned now. You can imagine what happened there because of wildfire. We don't know what causes it. It could be climate change. They attributed it to climate change impact. Do you understand? Sparked the fire and the fire started. And of course, because I don't want to attribute it to um, maybe man in the course of maybe trying to hunt, punch, push, or no. If it's way here in my environment, it can be possible because of our carelessness. Do you understand? So climate change mitigation, promoting land-based climate change mitigation strategies such as afforestation, reforestation, soil carbon sequestration, and sustainable land management practices to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Because some of these trees they observe what we give out and then give us something which we'll take in on the house. You understand? So we'll take in, we breathe it out. What we breathe out, they take it and they give us something in return. So community land rights. recognizing and securing land rights for local communities, indigenous people, and small-scale farmers to promote sustainable land management practices and protect traditional land stewardship knowledge. Because we believe that government owns the land, right? But these lands are under the stewardship of the community people, the indigenous people. That's why you claim that I have a piece of land in my village and in my father's land. But by the time you start fighting on that and we were not having peace because of that land, government will come and take it because government owns all the land. You understand? So by the time you start killing yourself, they took one like that and gave to a Catholic missionary in my place. So the two communities that were fighting, all of them, this land now, we have handed it over to the Catholic Church. They built their mission there. They built a school. So it benefits all the spiritual needs of the community, both community will take care of the church. The educational needs of the community will take care of the schools by the school. Do you understand? So these are the things. So if we begin to fight over the land too much, we'll come and take it. Even though you are that's what we say stewardship. So if you say you are land owner, you own, one day we'll collect it. Government will say, I want to do project here to compensate you, move. You understand? So you can see that you don't own nothing. It's government that owns it. So if they allow you to be there, you'll be there. Or any day they wake up and say they need it, you relinquish it, whether by force or by cooperation. You cooperate, they will give you, you go. Give you maybe another land, give you money, compensate you, go and start somewhere. That's why when we want to construct road, you don't tell us stories. You have to do it. When they were constructing story, one road in my village that passed in front of my father's house, it got to a point close to my father's place, just after a little bit, and then the community people there they came out and they say, we don't want, we don't want this thing cutting. That is, it was going to pass through their land, so they feel that this thing is going to cut their land, so they must be compensated. Oh, it should not be done. So government and their wayo wayo. So they were just playing wayo with the community people. The community people say, well, since you want to play wayo wayo with us, let's see how it goes. They carry bulldozer. It got to one point. They carry bulldozer. There's a tree that they wanted to remove. The locust. That tree called the locust. Some of you locust know locust being now. That tree. So locust. So locust tree. The bulldozer went. It was a very big, massive locust tree like this. So the bulldozer went to push it. That's how it died. That is, bulldozer could not function again. Could not function. The driver try, no work. They went and brought another one. That one die again. What is happening here? You understand? They brought a third one. That one also died again. What is happening here? So they now say, well, let's engage the community. What is happening? Because this is not ordinary. How can three bulldozers die in just one particular tree trying to remove one tree? So and then the community people told them what to do. So they did it. It was even the first one that died that removed the tree. So you can see. So, but either by hook or by crook, you must cooperate, and then the government continue. Do you understand? So, because in a way, it's development for you, and of course, it doesn't matter how you feel. It's just road. You can pass here and then move on. So these are the things. So, but all of these must be used judiciously. I get a point on. They must be used judiciously. So, last topic for today: responsible mining and extraction practices. Responsible mining and extraction practices. Responsible mining and extraction practices are essential for minimizing environmental impact, protecting local communities, and promoting what sustainable development in the mining industry. So I have the Chinese people, they have just nearby my house here. As I'm speaking with you now, just the way I'm pointing, see where I'm pointing my hand now. They are here. Yes, I can trek like 3 minutes. I say 3 minutes, 2 minutes. I'll get to their office here. They have that is an office at the same time an apartment where they are staying because it's a story building. There's so many apartments inside. So it's like they put some for office and some for residential. The signpost, that's why I'm having challenge you. Their signpost is not outside the fence. It's not even on the wall of the building. In a conspicuous place. Conspicuous place. No, it's not. They have what we call the bograry, right? That black one, they put it at the entrance of the plat of the story building. That's inside. So they cover it this way. So inside, that's where they put their signpost. So if you're passing, if except you look very well, you cannot even see it. And they are doing their operation here. So I'm asking myself, if you are so genuine, why are you hiding your sample? Why can't you put it in a conspicuous place so that we can see? But it's possible that you can operate without putting signposts anyway, but this kind of company, it's possible anyway because as I'm talking here, you come to our office, you will not see a signpost anywhere. So it's possible. But if we do, we will not hide it. We'll put it in a conspicuous place. So responsible mining and extraction practices. So environmental management. So conducting environmental impact assessment to identify potential environmental risk and development mitigation measures is very important. All right. And then the issue of pollution, the issue of noise, and all of that. So community engagement, engaging with local community, indigenous people, and other stakeholders to understand their concern, needs, and rights. So the only thing that benefits from this, what they are exploiting here now is this gravels and all of those ones. All right. And that's what they are doing here, cracking and breaking down, rocks for road construction and all of that. So at least once in a while, our road here, they'll come and fill it up and make sure that there are no potholes for us to pass. So that's why I'm benefiting from them. All right. So I'm benefiting something. So community, that's the social responsibility, right? Health and safety. So ensuring a safe working environment for mine workers through rigorous health and safety standard and training programs. We have what we call um, personal protection, what PP, what is it PPE? PPE, protection equipment, right? And so you give them so that the people can wear and be protected from any form of accident. So labor rights and fair wages. Yes, people who are suffering to carry out these extractions should be well paid. But sometimes they give them peanuts and then they work rigorously, work tirelessly, work several hours. Do you understand? Or some of those things. Ethical practices, avoiding corruption, bribery, avoiding corruption, bribery, and unethical behavior in all aspects of mining operation. Chai, people say this one no go work. Oh. Here, we must do chua chua. Chua chua. It's a give and take. I don't know in your area. Oh. Maybe in your area too, people are doing chua chua with your resources. adhering to international standards and guidelines for responsible business conduct, such as the OECD guidelines for multinational enterprises, promoting transparency and accountability in financial transaction revenue reporting, and community investment. Community investment. So resource efficiency. Resource efficiency. Implementing resource efficiency mining practices to minimize waste generation, energy consumption, and water use can be of help. All right. So resources must be used efficiently. So we don't need to abuse and misuse these resources because we need to use them for the fact that we can survive and our future generations survive. Once we have this consciousness in us, then it's enough for us to use resources judiciously. Regulatory compliance. So where there are regulatory issues, try to comply as much as possible. All right. Sometimes some of these regulations are too much, but try as much as possible to comply with as many as they will not affect your operation. All right. So support the development and enforcement of robust regulation or regulatory frameworks that address environmental, social, and economic impacts of mining. Very important. Engage in responsible what? Lobbying. Yes, you can rob, but rob very well. Don't go and rob in such a way that you have to exchange hands and things begin to go off point. And advocacy to promote regulatory reforms that enhance sustainability and accountability in the mining sector. So this is the much we are going to take for today. I think we we have covered a lot. So maybe possibly maybe what we have covered so far, maybe I will send it to you. I will send the manual in the group, in our WhatsApp group, so that you can have it and begin to go through it and get prepared ahead of your exams, because this one we are not doing simulation training. It's only the ADR we're doing simulation training. But this one will not do simulation training. So at the end of the day, you write your exams and take your certificate. All right. So maybe I will share the manual